Okay, so first time live. Robin actually had us put on the camera today. This one's about you guys, parents. We want to inspire you to be that person you can be for your kids. We want to make you excited about being a parent again and leading the way. And if you're already doing it, that's great. But we want to pass on some knowledge. I hope you guys are excited because it's about to get real.
We want you to be excited about parenting. We know it's hard. Every day is really, really hard, but you can do it. All right, we got a little presentation for you. So give us a second to get it loaded.
Thank you for joining us again today. We're here to talk about something that's near and dear to our hearts. Kids! If you didn't already know, we have 5 kids of our own and have been working with kids and teaching gymnastics for over 20 years. When we opened our business, we wanted to create something unique, with an emphasis on learning new skills and developing strength and coordination for other sports. Classes have always centered around getting kids more movement and making exercise fun. However, in the last 2 decades of teaching thousands of kids, we've seen quite a drop in kids' fitness level, work ethic, and overall health. Today, we want to talk about how, as a parent, you can change this trend by creating a higher expectation from your kids, shaping your environment to your goals, by making movement not only about competition and winning, but also getting your kids to move more and making it fun at their appropriate fitness and skill level. And last, helping to nurture exercise until the desire to be active comes from within and becomes something that they will carry with them into adulthood.
As parents, we have no problem expecting our kids to try their best at school or when it comes to their behavior, hopefully. But with busy schedules and too many other demands on parents, I think we forget that we should be demanding movement out of our kids every day. There was a day when parents didn't have to think about that because kids would get a lot of movement at school. They would come home and play outside for a few hours each day. But that's not the case anymore. Recess is getting shorter. PE isn't every day. And many of us live in neighborhoods where we can't just send our kids out to play on their own anymore. Add in the fact that as parents, we are constantly battling electronics. And now you have kids that get very little movement each day. So now parents, it's up to us to make sure our kids are moving every day. I know this is one more thing to add to your plate that is already overflowing. But guess what? You should be moving every day too. So instead of looking at this as another burden, look at it as an opportunity to create a great relationship with your kids. So ask yourself, does your child see that you too are moving every day?
Developing a collegiate athlete is great, but the reality is that the vast majority of children and young adults leave competitive sport by the time they're in middle school. What do they do next? In the US, we don't have many options for athletes that might not be on the varsity team. We want to focus on exposing our kids to a variety of loads and different movement patterns so that their physical and mental development is maximized. And yes, movement does enhance learning. As kids get older, they definitely start being drawn towards certain sports and movement patterns. But it helps that when they're young, expose them to a diversity of movements so they can get to the root of what makes them tick. Playing a specific sport is great, but still find time to integrate unstructured play so that they can develop strong kinesthetic awareness and get loads from a variety of different angles. Set a good example. Next time you're at the park, play on the monkey bars with your kids. Jump with them on the trampoline. Show them that exercise can be playful.
In our webinar, 5 Reasons You Aren't Getting Better, we talked about how much your environment dictates what you do. So here are some strategies we use to encourage movement for our kids, especially our younger kids. When you lay the foundation for movement early on, your kids will eventually demand it of themselves. As parents, we start off with good intentions by signing up our kids for sports, but if they show the slightest inkling of interest, we sign them up for more challenging or competitive level, and soon your schedule becomes so impacted that there isn't time to grab a hacky sack and just juggle as a family, jump rope together, or play tag at the park. I know it's hard to do, but try to resist the urge to overschedule your kids. One of our favorite parts of living in a campground is that our outdoors is literally at our front door. Just allotting more time being in nature will create opportunities for kids to get more active and get more exercise. Not only will the whole family be getting more exercise, but being outdoors does wonders for your immune system and overall health. Everyone knows this, but we have moments of weakness as parents all the time, just like you. And we know sometimes it's just too easy to give in and let electronics entertain them. When we're traveling, we rarely have hookups and our generator's broken, which means our kids literally can't use electronics for days at a time. Now, they may whine and complain at first, but then they end up finding other ways to entertain themselves and play together that they end up barely even missing it. Another strategy we used to use when we did have a house was that we had yoga mats lying on the floor so that there was always an inviting space to lie down and stretch, or in the case of my girls, always a place to do cartwheels and handstands on. The best way to shape your environment is to lead by example. We play, we move, we exercise. Kids emulate their parents a lot more than you may realize. When our kids were young, it took effort to encourage them to go play because they wouldn't play on their own without us. It was hard, it still is hard, to constantly be their source of entertainment, especially if we want it to be movement-based and not electronic entertainment. But then something magic happens. Eventually, the desire to move became their own. By the time our older 3 kids were about 11, we had laid a foundation, and the habit of moving every day became self-driven. Our older 3 will complain if they don't get to exercise daily. It doesn't always have to be intense. A lot of times it just needs to be some light movement. People who know us like to assume that it's just in their wiring because they were born to fit parents. But trust me, there was an age when we had to push, to nurture, and to experiment to figure out what would help them develop a love of movement. Now, more movement is only part of the equation. What your kids are eating will determine the energy level they have to want to go and move more. We are shocked at how many kids tell us in classes that they are just too tired. I don't know about you, but if I, as a kid, told my coach that I was tired, I'd probably be running laps for the next half hour. Most of the kids that are telling me this, I've taught for a long time, and I know they're not trying to be lazy. They have every intention on wanting to be in class and learn new skills. When they tell me they're tired, the first thing I always ask is, well, what did you eat before you came in? Or what did you eat for lunch? And the answers I get are a huge root of the problem. We're living in a time when industrialized farming has changed our food. Now, I don't want to spend too much time covering what I already did in our other webinars, but the important thing to remember is feeding your kids source matters a lot. Get rid of the food that contains additives, preservatives, food dyes, corn, soy. Have your kids go grocery shopping with you so they get excited about eating quality food. Our kids love to get involved in food prep and cooking. They get excited to eat everything from salmon, brie, and Brussels sprouts to fish tacos, homemade soups, and salads. Now, I'm guilty of this too, but I know as parents, we are tired. I catch myself, I'm sure you do too, saying out loud, I'm tired. And sometimes our kids are just repeating what they hear. So instead, get in the habit of saying, I'm tired, but I know if I go move or exercise, I will feel better. Your kids will start imitating this. Another way, by getting rid of the snacks in your house and replacing it with high quality foods, your kids aren't going to start noticing as you push out the snacks. You know, our kids will snack on fruit with nut butters, olives and cheeses, bean tacos. Just remember, fat is not the enemy. Sugar and processed food is. Make their snacks center around healthy fats, fruits and vegetables, and quality protein, meaning protein that comes from grass-fed cows, free-range chickens and eggs, wild-caught fish. The important thing to remember is manage your kids' blood sugar levels. For example, a lot of times when we go out for dinner, we'll have dessert first. I'll let my kids order a big plate of chocolate cake and then have our meals because I know my kids love to eat. They love good food. They love all food, it seems like. But if I give them the sugar first and then the protein and the fat and the carbs, it sometimes keeps them a little bit more level. Instead, if I give them the dessert at the end of the meal, they tend to melt down quickly or be hungry a half hour later, and I know they're not really hungry, their blood sugar's just dropped.
So we hope we inspired you to be who you want your kids to be. If you need a little more help improving your fitness level or knowing what to eat, we're here to help. Check out our website at robinandvicar.com for more info and testimonials on how our online personal training programs on It Takes Strength and a Playful Life. Thanks a lot.
Okay, so we hope you enjoyed that presentation. I'm going to talk a little bit about a few different options with robinandvictor.com. One short, we're selling my coaching series for just an absolute deal. For only $35, you get all of the videos that you see on the screen here, which provide you with a wealth of knowledge from everything that I've learned over the last 20 years working out and helping others. I've cut through a lot of the BS to help you guys understand what you need to do, from the posterior chain series where you're working effective leg training and the back of the leg training and glute training, to the push and pull series, which focuses on trying to build upper body strength for functional and good-looking upper body, as well as the core series, which narrows it down to the exercises you should be doing for your abs. Then I have 3 videos that focus on mobility and health of joints, because without good range of motion, you're not going to develop the muscles you want. And Robin as well has thrown in vinyasa, yoga, and nature, just to make sure you're all zenned out and balanced. Make sure you use the promo code that's on this sheet, deadlift, to make sure you get the deal on the videos. We also have some videos that we're going to be presenting that will help your kids stay active as well. We have gymnastics series that's going to be posted on our website to keep your kids active. And gymnastics is a great basic sport to introduce to your kids, because it allows them to work on strength and flexibility, which they can carry on throughout their life. And also, of course, the cornerstone of our program is the online training, which is an amazing product because it allows you guys to do personal training online. It allows you to get all the benefits of personal training without the expense of going to see one-on-one as a trainer. And I can tell you without a doubt that you can get as much, if not more, through our online coaching series as working one-on-one with me. I've been able to navigate through all the BS and make sure that you're getting a product that's going to get you results and keep you motivated and accountable. If you have any questions or comments, we'd love to hear from you. Thanks for joining us today.